Well, good afternoon. It's Jim Whitehead again. 2 times today. It's my blessing to be here. Anyway, this is a very short paradox issue. I typically do my live animals that are unusually good buddies when you wouldn't expect they would be, and also animal-related paradoxes. All through the time I've been back on YouTube, I've always liked doing paradoxes, space, A or B. It's very interesting where it makes you think about certain things, and some of the things we get a little confused about sometimes, and sometimes the paradoxes make us more confused, but that's okay. And when you get to be my age, you add more confusion. So here we go. Anyway, okay. This is a direct paradoxal discussion. And it's because my channel is an animal channel, which I love. And you all are helping me love it even more. Thank you. Today, the paradox is directly related to animal rights. So, animal rights paradox. And, you find that we too often take things for granted, or we don't think the whole process out to say, gee, we're doing this, but we say we're doing that, or any type of conflict that just doesn't add up. But let's start talking about the paradox. The paradox of animal rights addresses the complex and often contradictory ways in which society, us, views and treats animals. This paradox emerges from the gap between the widespread belief that animals deserve certain rights and the realities of how animals are treated in various contexts, particularly in industry like factory farming, entertainment, and scientific research. My mother, and I said this in one of my episodes, my mother, who died when she died in 1994. She was about 84, so that means I'm 75, so I have about 8 years to live, 9 years to live, but we're going to try to enjoy it. She, and I haven't heard it described this way, but vivisection was where, let's say, cosmetic companies, and I'm not trying to pick on cosmetic companies, but they would use animals in testing their cosmetics. I guess, trying to see if it causes skin irritation, burning, discoloration, you name it. And my mother, who worked very hard, would send money to what we call the anti-vivisection society. And so she introduced me, and of course I was in my 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old area, and I understood what she was talking about. And obviously, thank goodness, fast forward many years, and God bless my mom, I think a lot of the testing that they used to do on these animals has stopped, or you don't hear much about it. And I think, as an aside, if you say, well, no, we still have to use animals to test things because we have to. Well, one of the choices beyond that poor excuse is AI. We recognize for a variety of different things in our life, medications we take, treatment for certain unusual ailments. AI helps us come up with new ways, new drugs to treat what we've created in that, like for antibiotics, for example. We overuse antibiotics, so what has happened over time, the bacteria, viruses, you can't use antibiotics against viruses, but bottom line, they got to a point where they didn't work anymore because we overused them. So they are now coming up with new drugs that replace those drugs that don't work anymore. And probably different mechanisms to make them last longer or replace them relatively quickly if we get into that situation. So the paradox highlights the inconsistency in our moral attitudes and behaviors toward animals. The paradox of animal rights forces us to confront the inconsistencies in how we're treating and the moral beliefs we claim to hold. So, this is where the paradox is. We think one thing, we do something else. Or we do something else and we think something else. I mean, it just doesn't add up. So, this challenges us to examine our behaviors, societal norms, and the structures that perpetuate these contradictions. Resolving this paradox may require a fundamental shift in how we view animals, not as commodities or resources to be exploited, but as sentient beings deserving the rights and protection. Addressing this paradox involves raising awareness, promoting consistent and enforceable animal welfare standards, and encouraging individuals and society to align their actions with their ethical beliefs. It is a complex and ongoing challenge, but one that is essential for creating a more just and compassionate world for all living beings. So, and it's funny when you think about paradoxes. I've done paradoxes for quite a while on the YouTube channel. I just started doing paradox for animals. And this is such a fundamental paradox of, like, we eat chicken, but we like chickens. We don't really want to hurt chickens, but they do get hurt. So, and a lot of course, you wouldn't want to say, well, no more animal food anymore. And obviously that would hurt a lot of people, even though you'd be benefiting the animals, we'd have where people wouldn't be eating. So, as you can see, it's a quandary of coming up with the best of both worlds. And I know we've spoken a little bit about, in society, about meat that's not really meat, or it's not meat made from an animal or derived from an animal, and we produce something that's meat-like in the lab. Now, some people would say, it's not very good or whatever. But I think a lot of us that do love animals would certainly sacrifice, where we'd say, oh no, well, we got to have that big, thick steak. Well done, rare, medium, well. No, we should not even eat it and derive a steak-like product that, and how good they could make it. So sometimes it's not good to just go the easy way. You go the hard way, but you get things done. Anyway, this is kind of just, I hope you don't mind my bringing this up. It's just something to think about. and being able to give rights to animals a little more in depth and protective should have it where that does not hurt us and our rights. So with that said, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And sooner or later, we're going to finish everything and have the world be perfect, right? That's what I try every day. Thank you very much. And with your help, we will do it.